DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA Playbook preview show. Monday, 7-game main slate on tap here, starting 7 p.m. Eastern, taking you all the way through the 10 p.m. hour. Some pretty interesting matchups here. Anytime Chicago's on the board, we certainly like to get some exposure to that game. Pace and high total. They have Charlotte. We'll see whether or not LaMelo Ball suits up in this game.
Doubtful. Everyone's doubtful. It's going to be a nightmare.
Everyone being doubtful the other day as well. And we got Vasily Micic, we got Seth Curry, we got like the whole backup crew in that matchup against the Thunder. So we'll see if that's what they end up running back here against Chicago or not. We know Luka Doncic is out. We know the Pelicans are missing players. So it should be an interesting slate to break down. And again, we go live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to give you all the latest news and updates. So make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, that share button so you never miss a live show. We also still have our holiday sale going on right now. If you want to join the Fantasy Alarm family, 50% off for 2025. That's $19.98 a month for the entire year. If you sign up, cancel, try to rejoin, you get full price, $39.97. So sign up today. Get 50% off. Covers all content, draft guides, cheat sheets, fantasy baseball draft guides coming out soon. Rest of NBA, NHL, MMA. The PGA season kicks off this week. We have a new PGA DFS writer, Jacob Parry, joining the crew here. Get you guys ready for the Century, which I'm super excited about to have him on board. So no better time than now. Plus, you start off with a 7-day free trial to get all that content for free for 7 days. James, how was your weekend, my buddy?
I've had better weekends. My daughter got sick. My son got sick. And kids just never aren't sick. I've learned that as my son is almost 5. Kids are just always sick. And my son is not even in school yet. And I cannot. I'm happy that he's building the immune system up now, John.
Right.
But I could tell you that it is not fun having 2 sick kids. You know, I've basically dodged a year plus of my daughter not getting sick. And then this weekend it happened. So I've had better weekends.
Sure.
Good weekend in the NBA streets other than Sunday. I was riding a 3 cash streak until Sunday. Absolutely pummel drive me. But you know what? Monday, 7 games. Not only 7 games, John. We have 3 of them 10 p.m. or later.
Yeah.
You know what we call that? The late night trio.
Yeah, late night hammer trio.
Yeah, I tried to do something there and it didn't work. So we'll just move on and just on to point guard we go.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? 3 10 p.m. games, you can stack that up and build your lineups the way you want to go with it. So I don't mind that at all. Game totals, a note on this Monday slate here, as we mentioned, Chicago, Charlotte. That's a 227.5. Charlotte getting 6.5 at home, but we'll see who suits up for them. New York versus Washington, 228.5 game total there. The Knicks, 10.5 point road favorites. Clippers, Pelicans at home getting 6, 221. Denver, Utah, 237.5. Utah at home getting 7.5. Philadelphia, Portland, 223. Portland at home getting 6. Cleveland, Golden State, Cavs on the road giving 4.5, 231.5 total. And then Dallas, Sacramento, 228.5 total there. Sacramento, a 3-point home favorite. Overall spend ups on this slate, you have the Joker back up over 12K. You got LaMelo, as we mentioned, doubtful at 10K, and that's it for spend ups here. So Luka obviously already out. So looking at this slate, as you mentioned, though, LaMelo doubtful for this one. We start off with James Harden, 91, Steph Curry, 9K. Kyrie Irving went absolutely nuclear last night. Was it 19 or 18 fourth quarter points in that game against Portland on the Saturday slate, rather. He's 89. Fox is 88. Maxi's 86. Murray, Brunson round out your 8K tier. Where are you looking to go? I kind of highlighted Tyrese Maxey for you the other day. He is just continuing to ball out, even with Joel Embiid on the floor. You have Kyrie in that late game against Sacramento. How are you kind of ranking out this tier of guards?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Maxey Embiid is on the injury report again.
Yep.
He's listed questionable. So, with or without Embiid, he's been great. So it's a really good spot if you want to get to Maxi. I just have a hard time playing anyone in this tier over Kyrie at 89. He has just been really good lately. 2 of the last 3 games, he's absolutely nuked offensively. The third game, 6 for 21, still under 9K. So I really like Kyrie Irving in a game against the Kings, who just continuously can't do anything correct. So Kyrie, I like James Harden in the matchup quite a bit. I really like the minutes for James Harden, and my opinion on James Harden hasn't changed one bit this year. If and when he makes shots, he breaks slates, and we've seen it a couple times where he's 3 times in, let's call it, a month,
Yeah.
scored 43, 39, and 41 points, and he's nuked the slate. So, really good matchup against a bottom 5 defense. I'm good with Harden. Curry in tournaments, we'll see if they can hang with Cleveland, given how good Cleveland is. Cleveland just boat raced Denver in Denver the other day.
A game we loved, right? So,
and just solidifying, I don't know if anyone has, other than people in Cleveland, believe in Cleveland yet, but I think we should probably start to. So we'll see. Curry in tournaments is always an option. De'Aaron Fox was really good after being really terrible, actually, let me take it back. The Detroit game, he did not score in the first half and then just went nuts in the second half. But he is super safe, super solid. And DeJounte, I like. He continues to be solid. I don't love the matchup. And then, look, Jalen Brunson had obviously the game yesterday. They're running it right back. And I think sometimes we think oh, well, they're running it right back, so it's just going to be the same result, right? It's going to be close. It's Washington's. Well, we just saw Boston, Indiana, right? They ran it right back. And it wasn't the same team. Indiana had a key piece come back in Andrew Nembhard. Well, they beat the Celtics. And that's not what I'm saying here. The Knicks have won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma's back for Washington. Possibly no Jordan Poole. I am unsure if this game is competitive.
Right. 10.5 point spread. So
I just don't know if the Knicks are going to have 132 points to Washington again. Everything went correctly for them.
Yeah.
And now the ball is going to just die in Kyle Kuzma's hands. So I'm really interested in Brunson because the assists haven't gone anywhere. The points, obviously, the ceiling is as high as anyone. He just dropped 55 actual. But obviously, just keep it in the back of our minds that you said it. It's a 10.5 point spread. They're running it right back. I am almost guaranteeing the Knicks don't give up 132 points.
Sure. Below 8K, we have Jamal Murray, $7,700. McCollum, Garland, 71, really good against Denver. Again, we liked Garland at that point there.
Yes.
Giddy the other day, triple-doubled. Just he's on another one of these random Giddy runs. But as soon as you and I put him in his lineup, he's playing 21 minutes. Going to get subbed out.
So I wanted to talk about that. So he gave an interview after the game, and so did Billy Donovan. And the interview was basically Josh Giddey admitting that he went to Donovan and said, "How do I close games?"
Sure.
And Donovan said, "Play defense." And Josh Giddey said, "Okay." And there was a really good clip. I think his name is Stephen No. Stephen, if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, I apologize. But he put a clip out, Steph No, and he put a clip out about how good Josh Giddey was defensively in that game. And he was in the closing lineup. He played 30 minutes. And you see Josh Giddey after the game yeah, I had a triple-double, but I'm most proud about how good I played defensively. So if we're going to get Josh Giddey buying in, there's no Ayo Dosunmu here, right? Ayo Dosunmu is out for the next 10 days. We're likely going to get Josh Giddey in a lot more closing lineups if he's going to commit himself to the defensive end and be serviceable there. So, yeah, I mean, if Giddey's gonna, and that was his first game back, 30
Right.
minutes, almost 30 minutes after a 12-day absence. Wouldn't be surprised if that's 32, 33, 34 in the closing lineup.
Yeah, and he was playing a lot of minutes. Obviously, they were missing some guys, some of those other ones, but the matchup against Charlotte, 45 fantasy points in the game, 17, 9, and 7, 4 steals in that game. So, obviously joking because whenever you and I do buy into Josh Giddey, we don't get the Josh Giddey game, but would be nice at $6,900 to get that buy-in from him in this spot. Simon's tough spot against Philly, $6,700. You have the other Chicago guards. We saw the Denver lineup. They went small. They played Westbrook in the starting lineup without Aaron Gordon the other night. We'll see if they do that again against Utah. What are your thoughts on this mid-tier?
I have a slightly different opinion on Simons. I don't necessarily disagree that the spot is, and I mean, Philly's league average in defense, just, I'm not really reading into the little number next to his name. But if there's people out again, and Jeremy Grant is listed questionable, Tumani Kamara is listed questionable, we saw him play 40 minutes. There is a massive range of outcomes for Anthony Simons, but the boom games, we know. I mean, he has 30, 40 actual point upside when he's going. So if people are out and we're gonna get 40 minutes of Anthony Simons, I don't
think anyone's gonna play him. I bet his ownership's 1%.
Couldn't agree more, because you have Garland, you mentioned, you have the Bulls guys, you have Westbrook, who's going to start all but, assuredly, with Aaron Gordon already ruled out. You have Colin Sexton, Keontae George is listed questionable again. Colin Sexton's been on a heater the last 2 weeks. Surprise, just give the guy minutes, and he's a good basketball player.
30 minutes for Colin Sexton, and he's great, right? The guy that looked like he was in Cleveland, so.
Looked like he was in, yeah. Shaedon Sharpe has been really good lately.
Yeah.
The scoring has been what stood out the most with Shaedon Sharpe, 23 or more points in 4 of his last 5 games. So I think the 6K range is very, very appealing.
They have a logjam at the guard again, right? They moved on from Lillard and McCollum, and then they ended up with Scoot, Simons, and Sharpe. Just more.
Yeah.
We'll just hit Scoot now. He's 5K. Coming off the bench, back-to-back 40 fantasy point games, no rebounds, rare no rebound game against Utah, right? He could have gone for more than 41 than he did there. 6 stocks against Dallas in that one. I mean, he had everything going right away too. Right away in that game, he was all over it. Again, same game environment where you have Simons, but Simons is $1,700 more expensive, something, right? So why wouldn't you just play the cheaper Scoot?
Yeah, and things could possibly break right for him again. Banton's questionable. There's extra minutes there at the guard spot. They're not running a deep guard rotation with Banton out. They're just playing 3 guys Scoot, Sharpe, Simons, and move on. And then they don't have the option if Kamara's out as well. So I think Scoot, obviously not as much of a value as he was the other day, but perfectly fine. John, we've arrived. Another Vasily Micic chalk day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have we arrived at another Vasily Micic?
Hey, he was chalky against the Thunder, and he came through a little revenge game narrative. But now we got the Bulls. He was chalky against them last time, played 25 minutes, missed all his shots. 6 rebounds, 5 assists is good, though. Just the shot maker show. If he hits some more shots, we're talking differently about him.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. We just know, right?
We're going to play him.
He's going to start.
He's going to be 40% rostered probably. And we'll just have to hope he hits shots.
He's never cheap enough where you can get away with when he gets benched, floor game. Yeah. And he's never too expensive where you're just nah, I'm not playing him. Right? He's always always in this range.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably one of the more expensive prices. He's 51, 48, 5K. So I guess that's his max there. Yeah. I mean, he's $4,600. You're going to play him. You only need 23 fantasy points for 5X. You're going to play it. You're just going to play it.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect spot for him, against Chicago here. So
I'm preparing myself.
What do you do with Dinwiddie? 5,200,
Yeah, I mean everyone's suspended still, so
right?
like no Luca, or Najee's suspended, so we have PJ back. Um, I'd assume he would start, but
I mean,
they could.
he looked great in the starting lineup against Portland.
He did. I assume he would start, and you get Kyrie, Spencer, Clay, PJ, and then whoever, if Lively's available, Lively. If not, Gafford.
Sure.
They also might want to bring him off the bench as like a secondary ball handler, but it doesn't matter because rotation patterns and stuff. So yeah, if he plays or if he's starting, I'd be more inclined. Like whoever's starting between him and Grimes, I'm inclined to play.
You're always partial to Kevin Porter Jr. Didn't play the other day. 23 minutes in that Memphis game, 29 fantasy points. We know what he can do when extended. He plays all of the blowout run.
He does.
He can be a bucket here. So you got him and kind of Jordan Hawkins. I think in a similar situations where Hawkins would play a lot of blowout run in this game as well. They're starting Chris Dunn, $4,100. Like, what are your thoughts on the value?
It's probably Micic, and then everything else is like a contrarian pivot off of him. But yeah, I mean, all those guys are fine. I'd probably like Porter's ceiling is really nice. Chris Dunn's minutes are more secure. So, do you like the ceiling? Do you like the security of Chris Dunn? Probably something you have to. I bet you Chris Dunn, one of those two guards gets like a solid amount of ownership early on.
Yeah.
Because, Dunn's playing a lot of minutes in the starting lineup. So,
yep, agreed. Shooting guard. Up at the top, again, talk Kyrie Irving already. Miller is doubtful. Donnie Mitch, you were worried. You were worried when you saw him in my lineup. You're like, oh no, the Donovan Mitchell jinx is there. 51 fantasy points, 30 minutes. Honestly, most times he plays more. There's just another game where they scored, right? Like if he played more minutes, he was going for 60. If they can play a competitive game through and through, he's going to play 35 minutes and he's probably going to score 60 fantasy points.
I hedged that a little bit because I also wrote up.
It's $200. What are we doing?
I know. I also wrote up all his points props on that. I like 23. It was like 23 and a half on Underdog and Prize Picks. Yeah. So like I sent that to you, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, haha, I still will hit this prop when he goes over because I even listed it in those articles. All of his usage rates in these games with where he's like playing against like the better teams, he is elevated. He's just most quiet superstar until he plays in like these big matchups, and then he's just like, actually, y'all must have forgot I'm
just really good. Like
it's awesome. Yeah.
Celtics Twitter is kind of up in arms because they've lost 4 of their last 6, and I'm like, it's like the regular season hasn't actually started for them. It starts in June. Right. And Cleveland's sort of doing the same thing. They're going through their progressions, they're getting their rotations worked out. They're just walking through teams,
through everybody.
Even the best teams in the West, they're walking through them. Like there's no effort really for them. So when you do get a relatively competitive game, Donovan Mitchell is just out there effortlessly giving you 50 to 60 fantasy points, and they're lowering his price tag. Yeah, I'm just going to keep playing Donovan Mitchell at this price. It's just not fair.
Fully agree. I really don't have much to add.
Yeah, that's fine. Not much else to add. I'm with you on that one. Levine's here, again, 34 minutes, always pretty legit. Can be a bucket.
Yep.
Has a Charlotte matchup. Norm did Norm things. Played 40 minutes against Golden State. 26 actual. Don't need to extend too much here. 5x is 36.5. That's basically what he's given you. So, Pelicans bad defensive team. He could go out there and give you 30 actual tonight.
Dude, I don't really need anything. He's playing
Yeah.
big minutes. He takes a lot of shots, and he's somehow 6th and most improved player. And I still can't believe
Shooting
that.
guard, small forward, goat eligibility. You
Yeah.
can play him like wherever you want.
26 plus points in 5 consecutive games for Norm. I mean, what are we doing, dude?
And you can be like, and this isn't even like a volume shooter at like bad percentages. No, he's shooting 50% from the floor, and he's shooting like 45% from three.
Almost 50% from 3, like the
Yeah.
best in the league.
Dude, he's almost like 50-50-90, right? Like, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
At like volume shooting. So yeah, no, he's awesome. Malik Monk obviously playing a lot of minutes, secondary scorer, will have pop nights and tournaments.
Yep.
Yeah, at the 7K price tag, probably not going to get any love because there's other guys around him that we're going to be looking to play. Murphy's another flamethrower. I mean, if you just want 69, like, why is this guy $6,900? Yes, the price is coming up on him. That's fine, but it's not coming up quickly enough.
No, it's not.
$400 over the last 5 games. He's gone for 43 times. Like,
we knew this was. I mean, we knew this was Trey Murphy.
Yeah, he's a flamethrower. We knew this from the beginning. And then wait till they trade somebody, and there's like even worse when they wait till they trade Zion, right, or something like something like that.
My vote's Ingram. I think Ingram's gone of all the players.
Move them both. Just reset your team. Right. You DeJounte and Murphy and move forward there. So, Knicks players are here. We've talked a lot of these other guards. If Poole sits, where do you sit with Brogdon?
If Poole sits, I'm good with Brogdon. My only concern, I don't know if it's a concern or not. So the 30 minutes, right? Back-to-back games. But the second game he played 25. Okay. There was overtime.
Sure.
So, like, why? There was no Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma in that game. Why is Malcolm Brogdon only playing 25 minutes? And now his price has increased. I'm not saying I'm completely out. I'm also just factoring in, like, there's clearly a range from, like, 24 to 30. Yeah. And I don't love that it was at 25 basically going into overtime.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Clarkson, again, can always be a bucket. If
he started the other day, by the way. With no Keontae, no John Collins. And I believe John Collins is listed as doubtful. So
yeah. Love to see him attack the rim that game against Cleveland, dude.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
One of the reasons that game was as competitive as it was because him and Sexton just took over. Little revenge game narrative there against the Cavs. He got them against Denver here. We know Denver not a great defensive team. This is just going to be Utah not being able to stop Denver either. Like there's just going to be
no defense.
It's nothing else that they can really do there. What about the rest of this low 5K range? Anybody particularly you'd be looking to play?
Clay's fine. Did not shoot well second leg of a back-to-back, but you have to love the minutes and the shot volume without Luka. PJ Washington is obviously back, but the minutes on the second leg of back-to-back, the most important thing, I think, for Clay. Sure. Quentin Grimes, if he's starting, he played a bunch of minutes the other day. Christian Brown, 4,900, I think is really interesting. The minutes aren't as secure as they were earlier in the year, even with like Russ starting and no Aaron Gordon. I still am a little uncomfortable with the minutes.
It's the shot volume for me too. Like,
and the shot volume.
Earlier this year, he was a very efficient shooting.
Yep.
Now he's not outside of the Cleveland game of all things, but even then, only 22 fantasy points in that game, going 7 of 9.
Right.
You need more, and I don't know if you can get more if Russell Westbrook starting next to you. Like, there's just a ball dominant guy there. So
it's a good point. And like Jokic is Jokic, and Jamal Murray looks more like Jamal Murray, like day
MPJ looking great, right? Like,
and MPJ
Brown is very clearly the number 5 at basically all levels of that team right now. He might be the best defender on the floor, of that 5, but that's basically all he's there for. So.
We didn't mention. I don't know why we skipped. I didn't mean to skip over Jamal Murray. By the way, 7,700 shooting.
I gave him a shot, but I didn't dive.
He's been great. He has been really, really good lately. So just wanted to throw him in there.
Yeah,
too.
That's fine. We ended up talking more about Garland, but he's obviously been legit. This is what Jamal Murray can do.
Yep.
Again, 50 plus in basically 4 of the last 5 games.
He's been amazing.
Yep. And listen, I mean, we talked about it when we talked about Cleveland. It's like, listen, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, playoffs, bubble, like those 2 guys. Like, just put those guys on the map for a lot of people who had nothing to do but sit in their house and watch basketball. Those guys put on a performance
They sure did.
For everybody. So, all right, other value plays. Again, I always think Levert's a tournament play. Anything else that you give a look at down here?
I was trying to look at
We're still giving
some.
speed minutes.
Nope, he DMP'd.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was looking at as well. He DMP'd last game.
Okay.
Seth Curry, you talked about 22 minutes. It's fine. What did the minutes look like in that game? I know you played that weird 2-game slate. You messaged me, you're like, yeah, I don't know why I just decided to play 2-game slate.
Literally don't know why I did it, but I came in 8th. So
yeah, that's good. That's a good placement.
And honestly, if it wasn't for like 5 turnovers from SGA in the final 2 minutes of that game, I might have been better.
Damn, they played Solana a lot in this game. We'll talk about that. I mean, Seth didn't play. He played a lot of first half minutes. He did not play a lot of second half minutes. He played 6 second half minutes. So I guess if that game maybe was more competitive, he would have played more, but it wasn't a blowout, right? 12-point game. So that's fine-ish.
You mentioning Salon, just want to give a quick shout out to Tristan Da Silva, who absolutely had a breakout game here on the Sunday slate. Just for future references. If they're now down Jalen Suggs as well, who did not come back in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
Tristan Da Silva just may be like the lone man on an island here for that Magic team. Just another rookie, Solana rookie, Da Silva rookie. Just that rookie class looking
a little better than it was hyped to be, right?
Definitely. All right. Any other shooting guards?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Small forward. Again, a lot of these guys are up here. DeRozan, Paul George. I mean, if there's no Joel Embiid, we'd probably have a little bit more interest in Paul George here. But he is very clearly the third man. So kind of difficult to dive in at 75.
I would, just for the record, 100% exposure to Paul George if Embiid does not play.
Yeah, you have all the
7,500.
You tweet them out all the time. It's like without Joel Embiid, Paul George is like a 33% usage rate and a 1.4 per minute.
First, I will literally second I will just plug Maxey and Paul George in my lineup and just figure out the rest from there. Like
Scoot, Maxey, George, and then
dude, we'll move on. I'll just I will figure it out from there.
Let's see. Laurie's been he's been good. He should have bigger numbers. When you're scoring 20 something and you're 7 feet tall, I know
he's been scoring like really like back to Laurie stuff, but like the everything else is just...
everything else. Where is it? Where is the everything else? That's what
I remember a couple weeks ago. I was like, why is he not shooting? And he definitely took that personally because he's now taken 13 plus threes in 3 of 4 games, let alone shot attempts. Like he's shooting. So it's great to see the shot volume. It's just like you said, we need other stuff.
It's going to be super interesting what happens here with Bilal Coulibaly with Kyle Kuzma coming back, I think.
Yes. It's very unfortunate for Bilal Coulibaly.
I mean, I guess if there's no pool, maybe it kind of helps him out a little bit. You're the Wizards. You're trying to trade Kyle Kuzma. So
yes, you are.
Has Coulibaly elevated himself to a point where now he's not going to be impacted by Kyle Kuzma, or is he just Kuzma's going to come on there and 28% usage rate and just take over the game?
I think it's easier for Coulibaly to be Coulibaly if it's just Kuzma, if it's like one of the two.
One of two, yeah.
But if Jordan Poole plays, dude, it's going to be, I mean, I'm not saying Coulibaly can't or will not be that guy, but like he's also just played with one or without one or both of them for like all of these games, every single one of them. Like, so
the other thing to watch here for those who are, and I'll have the pick'em articles out for tomorrow. We hit the Coulibaly assist prop the other day. It was at 3.5. It's been at 3.5.
Right.
And as you can see, he's had more than 3.5 in a lot of these games here, but a lot of those without Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
So will he have the same assist opportunities if the ball's not in his hands, if it just goes to Kuzma and he holds it for 15 seconds, loses the assist total. So we'll have to see what that number's at for tomorrow, because that could be, again, something just to attack for us here. Michael Porter, as I mentioned, he too has looked really good. Back to scoring. Another guy where like Okay, you're paying $600 more for Laurie Marketing, and you're getting almost the same numbers out of Michael Porter for cheaper. So like, why not just play Michael Porter Jr. at this point?
He heard his name. He heard his name started getting floated in trade rumors. He said, "Oh, gotta get going."
No kidding. Get the Knicks guys again. If you want to play them against the Washington, you can. Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart, dude. It's Josh Hart.
Yeah,
It's Josh Hart.
We talked about this, right? Like we did against Orlando, a game we hated. We talked about hating that game. Orlando only scored 85. Washington or New York scored 108, and he had 23 and 13.
I think he also got hurt in that game and left and returned and still did that.
Like foul out of that game or something like that. Was that
that was the game that Towns? That was also the game that Towns fouled and did not play a lot.
Yeah.
But Hart left, played 38 minutes, and still doubled. I mean, guy is a psycho.
Yeah. No, he's always in play for tournaments. And obviously Washington will abide by that. Denny, dude. I mean,
yeah, core play if Tumani Kamara's out.
Right? I drafted a lot of Denny in best ball. He's on a lot of my best ball teams because I was like super excited to get him out of
Washington,
get him away from Washington. I thought he would go to Portland and like have an opportunity to like play a lot of minutes, and then they haven't really done. They've just split him with Kamara a lot of times, and he has some good games and other good bad games. We'll see if like Jeremy Grant gets traded, and then maybe that opens up some like Denny minutes. But when Denny gets the opportunity to play 30, he is really good. He always was. He was always really good in Washington when given the 30 minutes. So I like that there for sure. Champagne in that.
It's just insane.
Obviously can't count on it, but I just saw 13 of 15 there. But again, we expect Kuzma back. We'll just probably axe him out of the rotation basically. So
yeah, I don't think he's like. I think he'll probably. I mean, he probably sticks in the rotation, but also he's not starting. Like, he's not going to start. There's no way.
Yep. What else are we looking at? Small forward, anything?
I guess if everyone's out again, Sensabaugh had one of those like weird random nuke games, 3,900 against Denver. You know, that is what it is. They started Cody Williams. He played 23 minutes. He did nothing, but he did start and play mid-20s.
Any Wade interest here?
Yeah, he's fine. Fine as like a last piece in type situation. Strother has played 20 minutes without Gordon in back-to-back games. Hasn't done a lot, but, 20 minutes is solid.
Power forward position. Mobley, $7,800. Had another great game against Denver, 31 minutes, 44 fantasy points. We know, we've talked tirelessly on the show. He is an elite player. If he was on any other team where he was the 1 or the 2, he would like be Joel Embiid or something like that. Like he would give you 28 and 10 probably a night, plus blocks and steals.
Well, I think his development this year, like he hadn't been that dude until this year. Like offensively,
he's definitely forced his way into that on a more crowded group that he's been playing part of.
Yeah,
but like we've always talked that we felt like he had this ability.
Yes, for sure.
He just had to deal with everybody else around him, also just taking a whole bunch of shots. So, he hit the evolution of his 3-point game. I think has helped him a lot this year as well.
Absolutely.
Just adding to that upside. Could have a solo Bridges here. 57-47 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he'll be like the highest roster player of the slate.
Probably.
No, on almost him and Micic, like almost undoubtedly. I mean, he's
38 minutes shows that he has basically no minutes cap.
Yep, that's the one right there. The no minutes. Yeah,
a billion shots.
Yep.
PJ Washington back after his suspension for like egging on the fight or something like that, right? Like
he is always just in the middle of something, dude. He is always just egging somebody on.
Yeah. I probably don't go here, but tournaments, the minutes are going to be legit for him.
We know no Luka. There's PJ ceiling when there's no Luka.
All right, it's Cleveland. What?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I'm laughing because it's just
he did it against the Clippers and he did it against Phoenix. Phoenix obviously a little bit of a worse defensive team, but we consider the Clippers to be a pretty good team. He still had 34 actual in that game.
Dude, the Clippers are fourth in defense. The Clippers are fourth in defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like a good defensive team. 11 of 19, 12 of 20. The free throw attempts, 8 of 12, 11 of 14, just attacking the rim. I mean, we've talked about the bucket here for a little bit now. Like he is, you know,
dude, he is a legit offensive player. He is just a skilled offensive player.
Yeah. When there were the rumors of Jimmy Butler going and getting traded to like Golden State, we're like, you give Eric Spoelstra, Jonathan Kuminga, and turn him into an MVP candidate, right? Like,
it's just like one of those things where you look at him, and I tweeted this like 2 nights ago. I think the first night. What did I tweet? And I've been getting retweets like all the last 2 days because I think people are just searching his name.
Probably.
But like,
is he an actual 20-point scorer or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like he is a 30% 3-point shooter and is shooting sub 70% from the free throw line. And yet he's at 17 points a game in like kind of limited minutes because he's been so like his minutes have been a roller coaster this year. Anytime he's extended, he nukes. It doesn't matter if Steph is on the floor. It doesn't matter if these people are playing for Golden State. He's just nuking every time. I don't know what to like. I don't know how to say like. He's not going to start, right? Like he's just not. Yeah. They're going to start Steph. They're going to start Draymond. They're going to start Wiggins, Schroeder, TJD. But when he comes in, he doesn't leave the floor. He just plays. So
he's one of the best players on their team. Like, right?
So
like Kerr can't deny, his eyes can't deceive him anymore. You don't score 34 back-to-back games by accident. You do that because you are extremely talented,
dude. And like again, one of those games, no Steph. Sure, Steph came back and played full minutes in that Phoenix game, and he played 34 minutes off the bench. There's just a
dude. He's still like 22 years old. You want to give him a pass for the last couple of seasons because he was a 20-year-old in the NBA. Like, fine.
I agree.
Very few people can put up back-to-back 34 actual scoring point games in the NBA. It's a minimal team. I get it. Every NBA player can shoot. Yeah, no. In a real game, competitive game, very few people can put it together this level of production at that highest of highs there. So,
yep.
But it's Cleveland, so like really good defensive team, can be dealing with a lot of Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, like. That whole rim protection group that they got going on there. Yeah, a long way of asking you, are you playing Jonathan Kuminga against Cleveland?
I'm not necessarily against it. Okay. Am I prioritizing it? No, I don't think so. But I think he's too cheap if we're going to get 30 plus minutes. They also have a kind of a shortened rotation, right? No Podziemski. No Gary Payton, 2 guys that play. So, maybe more minutes. No matter what, they don't really go back. Like TJD went for like 90 fantasy points the other day, 23 minutes. He's like mid-20s minutes. They just like they're comfortable going Draymond small. And Cleveland will counter if they do that, where like they take Jared Allen off the floor. So yeah, I'm good with it in tournaments. I have no issue. I mean, they, like you said, it's inevitable. He's going to play if he's going to score like this.
Sure. Anybody else here power forward for you?
Sorry, I know that was a long conversation.
No, I mean, listen, we got to talk about him. He's been one of the more polarizing, I think, for us at least on this show, specifically, players, to talk about here because we know the talent is there.
Boy.
He's stuck on a team with a coach that has put him in the doghouse more times than you can count.
Bro, I want him I want him to be a Chicago Bull. Let me tell you, I'll go out and buy that jersey tomorrow.
No,
I'm thinking Vooch. Hey, you know what? I don't care. Whoever, just get me Kuminga. I will buy that jersey tomorrow. Sure. Anything else you asked? I mean, I would probably play Jeremy Grant at 5,200 if people are out again. He played 42 minutes. I know the shot volume's down. I know this is a down year for Jeremy Grant as opposed to what it's been. But like we're less than a year removed where he was scoring 20 points a game. So where did that guy go?
Where did the Jeremy Grant from like 3 years ago?
I know. I don't know what happened, but he's $5,200. If he plays and people are out and there's 40-minute upside for Jeremy Grant, I will absolutely play him at $5,200.
Patrick Williams, 27, 29 minutes last couple of games here. Not as impactful in that game against Milwaukee, but did get to 29 minutes. Better against Atlanta, 27 fantasy points. He's still 4,200. So you only need 21 fantasy points for 5X, and now you're getting basically 30 minutes out of him here against Charlotte. I still think this is a good play.
Yeah, for sure. There's no IO to like take him off the floor. There's no threat on the Bulls bench unless Javon Carter goes 9 for 9 in the first quarter for anyone to lose their minutes. So yeah, I'm good there.
And the center position. The Joker's 12K. You talked about it the last couple of games here. 74 against Cleveland. Again, that was one of our favorite games of the slate. He did not disappoint. If you got him there, nearly triple-doubled against Detroit, scored 37 actual in that game. Gets the Utah matchup. No, they're not going to be able to really stop him here. So it's all about whether or not you want to spend 12K for Jokic or like see if Towns can go give you 60 against Washington.
Yep.
Or Joel Embiid, $9,500 can give you 60 against Portland, right? Like that's basically your decision.
That's it. Yep. That's it. Yep. Because we talked like we're getting soft pricing on Towns because he had 2 games with foul trouble. And then he stays out of foul trouble. He plays 39 regulation minutes, 44 total, and has 57 fantasy points in a game that Jalen Brunson scored 55 actual.
Right.
Just to like give you, there's clearly 2 big dogs there and then everyone else, right? Like peripherally.
Yep.
And then, dude, every single time Joel Embiid stays on the floor, he's the guy that we remembered from last year at this point. Minus
in that game.
Minus the rebounds, which I think is weird. But it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Well, Kelly Oubre is rebounding, so
fair. He's that guy again. Like he is. He's just we're getting free throw. We're getting max free throws. We're getting minutes. 35 minutes last game. Like, and he's a sub 10K player. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying here. If he's good to go, it's a 10 p.m. game, so you're gonna have to like build that into your lineup, basically.
Well, fortunately, we have 2 7 p.m.s, 1 8, and then everything's late. So like it fits. I feel like it fits pretty
if
good.
You're gonna build your lineup, you're gonna have. You'll play you'll play Sabonis, I guess, right? Like Sabonis is your Embiid pivot here against Dallas.
Or you play Embiid in your util and like pivot there.
Yeah, do a Towns and Embiid stack or something. Listen, Sabonis is just in foul trouble all game. I mean, there's nothing he could do in this one. He still had 41 fantasy points and a double-double, nearly triple-double in 26 minutes.
Yep.
He was on his way to a huge game against the Lakers. He just couldn't not hack Anthony Davis, which a lot of people have a hard time defending Anthony Davis. So Dallas has Gafford and not Davis, so it'd be willing and no Luka to drive into his chest for fouls here. So I do like Sabonis. Vuk obviously has the Charlotte matchup, all centers against Charlotte all the time. You can definitely play that. Didn't play against Charlotte in that last matchup. So that was a Jalen Smith game, remember?
That was the Jalen Smith game. No reason Sabonis price should be going down, but it is. So take advantage of that. Vooch, it'll be 1%. Nobody's going to play him. But there was
center eligible Kawhi Leonard.
I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? Hopefully, I'm just hoping that's just like they're getting him back in the player pool, right?
He's with the G League affiliate, huh?
Yeah, January 4th. He's targeting Saturday against the Hawks is when his return date is slated to be. Zubats, hey, John. Ivica Zubats, 44 fantasy points because that's just what he does.
Yeah. He's a good player.
He is so good. And he plays all the minutes. So if you want to get to Zubats, no one I think Yves Misi is actually questionable for this game. And I believe we saw Daniel Tice almost triple-double the other day. We'll get there. But if it's Daniel Tice going against Zubac, I mean, Daniel Tice is barbecue chicken in this game. So, yeah, I mean,
they'll probably just go Herb, right? Just small ball it.
maybe. They did play Tice the other day, though, and he almost triple-doubled, so.
Yeah, don't disrespect the German League Player of the Year.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I mean, I name dropped him twice. I was setting you up on a.
I was only half listening while you were talking.
Yeah, I know.
You assumed. Walker Kessler against Jokic, probably too tough of a spot, but he's been pretty good.
I'm not against it. Jokic can get a shot blocked.
Okay.
And Walker Kessler is a guy who blocks a lot of shots. Has had 5
Joel Embiid he just faced, so I mean, like, yeah.
5 blocks against Denver, 5 blocks. He has 2 double-doubles and 47 fantasy points in each game against Denver. So
that's fair. 46 and 4. All right, good call on you.
And again, like, as good as Jokic is, like, when you watch him, it's like he goes up, gets blocked. He's so fast off, like, immediately offensive rebound, put back foul. It's like, oh,
yeah,
right. So it's I'm not against Walker Kessler.
No, Walker, listen, you bad on me to assume that this is a tough matchup for him because he has dominated this matchup. 17 and 13, 4 blocks, 2 games against the Joker. So, or was that when the Joker missed?
No, he played both. Jokic played both.
He played both games. Okay, so yeah, Blocker Kessler certainly in play there. Jared Allen, if you wanted to, $6,300. Mark Williams,
yes,
22 minutes, 26 the game before that. If it wasn't a blowout against OKC, probably would have gotten that same minutes range.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that comes down to Mark Williams for me would be the Gafford versus Lively stuff, because Lively was upgraded to questionable. Okay. I would probably just play Gafford over Mark Williams. But if there's no, like, if Lively plays, that's decision's much easier. I'd rather just play Mark Williams than both of them.
We do have TJD here, who's been really good.
Dude. He has been, dude, he went from starting to benched to starting again, and now he's dominant. He's like, I'm never losing this job
playing
again.
Kevin Looney because Kerr's and psycho. Just like, play your good players. What are we doing here?
Until he gets traded, he's raising his trade stock. Yeah, I'm good with TJD. Another guy I'm very interested in. Yabusele, if you want to play, obviously, if there's no
Embiid or Drummond here, Yabusele is going to be in play.
Yeah, and Yabu's been playing. I mean, 22 minutes, 26 fantasy.
I mean, he's their backup bigs, right? Like that's his role.
Big, yeah, just big.
Power forward center. That's his role. So, then you mentioned obviously Tice is there. 20 minutes.
Did you see it? Look at it, dude. 21 minutes. That was a game for Daniel Tice. 21. Would you play him? If there's no Misi and he's starting, would you play him?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. Probably not, though.
JRE played 23 minutes in that game, too. So he's 3,300. If JRE is starting, would you play him?
I would play him.
6'6" center against Zubac.
I mean, we've seen him have a
6'6" center,
right? Like, he's played big minutes. So if he's starting, I would almost trust that he would actually like play 30. Where I don't think Tice is going to get there.
Yeah, and this is all obviously contingent on Misi. Misi's played mostly, so.
All right, we've talked a lot. We got to build a lineup.
Yeah, Micic, Bridges, probably where I'd start, just right off the cusp, right off the bat. Micic, Bridges, move on from there. Just chalk city, John. Just be chalky here.
Okay, I threw Donnie Mitch in the lineup.
Yeah, can't play Jokic, but yeah,
that's
can play Embiid or Towns. That's fine.
That's probably fine. I mean, Joker would give us 4,450. We could probably get there, but 5,100 with a JoJo.
4,400. I don't even know. Like we'd start playing. Like we'd have to play like Dean Wade.
Well, we have Kevin Porter Jr. 5,300 for a small forward. I mean, there's Grimes here, Denny, right? One of those. Something in this range here would play.
Yeah, well, Denny is like the play there if we get anything out for Portland, Kamara or Jeremy Grant.
Kuminga, because we can, and then a $4,700 util. What do we want to do here? Pat Will. $500 left over.
Yeah, we'd switch that around.
Sure,
but
for the
yeah.
Well, we can't actually.
For the Elge.
What would you do? Bridges is the same
you
game.
Would do.
I don't think there is a pivot there. I think we're just kind of locking out our util with that build.
It's Bridges is power forward only, right? Okay.
So $500. Micic, Mitchell, Denny, Bridges, Embiid, Porter, Kuminga, and Williams. Example lineup. Again, we'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll rebuild the lineup, get all the latest news and updates. Grande will have your playbook ready for all of you guys as well. We'll see you then. Good luck with your research. We'll talk to you later.